Ladies and gentlemen, now it's too late with Alan Mosley.
Guys, welcome back for another episode of It's Too Late. I am your host, Alan Mosley, joined as always by the number one producer in late night. It's Dave Willimowski. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm full. I don't think I've stopped eating since like maybe 3 days before Christmas Eve. It's gotten to the point where I don't eat when I'm hungry. I eat when I can, like when I can fit more. And I really need to stop. I need New Year's to come and do that whole resolution thing.
Well, okay, so you brought that up. So I told people back at Thanksgiving I had Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to have a Merry Christmas Fruity Pebbles, but I didn't. Actually, this is the first year we ever did this. My mom went to the family Christmas get-together. Me and my dad didn't because we hate everybody. So what we did is we were like, well, everything's closed. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I see stuff on the internet all the time of people go out on Christmas like to have dinner together. You have to go to the Asian places because the Asians, they're open. So me and my dad went to this place in town. I swear to God, the name of the place is a Ninja Hibachi Grill. Like, you would think if one was trained to be a ninja that you'd be like an assassin or something, but no, they're chefs. Yeah. And so I had hibachi steak and rice for Christmas, and I gotta tell you, I liked it.
Nice. Did you catch the shrimp? Good. Did they do that thing?
No, I don't. You know, this is the whole thing, and well, they have those places where you can make your own bowl. Like you pick up a bowl and then you go through and you put the stuff in it that you want, and then you give them the bowl and they like cook it up. Have you ever been to one of those kind of places?
No, I don't do that much, but I think I've seen it.
Well, what a sad, depressing answer that was. Ever been to one of these? No, I don't. I don't really do that much.
That's a bit rich for my blood.
No, all right. So, you know what? Forget it. I'm just not even going to tell the story now. You've ruined it.
I was riveted. Please.
All right. Yeah, you're. No, I saw your fingernail the other day. You have been riveted. What's the matter with you? Yeah, no. Look at that.
That's my goth thumb.
Yeah, it's your goth thumb. Actually, I do have a serious story to tell. So back on September 1st, so go back to September 1st and then go back 4 years. That was episode 1 of this show called The Gold Standard with Alan Mosley. Take a look at this. Here's a picture. This is from episode 1 of The Gold Standard.
Wow.
And you can see in that picture, so Blake clearly showed up that day having no idea what we were doing. And me, you see how short my hair is. So cons, my hair hadn't grown out yet. Pros, I still cared about life in that picture. Not anymore, though, clearly. But we did 94 episodes of The Gold Standard. And then episode 95 was actually the first episode of It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Well, I forgot to mention this last week. The Christmas episode was episode 188. Tonight's episode, the New Year's Eve episode, is 189. We have officially done more episodes of It's Too Late than of The Gold Standard.
Wow. It seems like just yesterday.
No, not to me. Not to me.
Eternity.
What's funny is that maybe a year or two ago, if this had come up, I would have said, man, that feels like just yesterday. But now, no, actually, it feels about a decade ago. And furthermore, we're going to be coming up on episode 200 pretty soon. But we're not going to do a live show for episode 200, and I'll tell you why. Because if we did, it would fall in March. But March can still be like rainy and cold and, you got some issues there. But we decided to do our live event in June. And so now I have to make this decision. Do I skip episode 200? Do I go from 199 to 201 and then we call the episode in June episode 200? Or do we just keep going and let bygones be bygones? I feel like if you want to skip a number and come back to it, that's your prerogative as a host to do. But I mean, we're talking like 3 months later. We're going to have done like 15 more episodes by the time we get to So what do you think we should do? Should we skip episode 200 and then just call June 4th episode 200?
Just go 99, 199, 201,
Yeah.
202.
Should we do that or should we just keep going?
That's crazy. I don't know.
That's crazy. But which one?
I don't know. I respect like the numbers come in order. It just feels weird.
Jesus Christ. Well, I will never ask your opinion of anything ever again on this program. I swear to God.
I didn't like. I never even thought that you could actually just take a number and move it. That never occurred to me. I don't know. It's freaking me out.
Oh, that's freaking you out. That's what's not like the 7 shots of vodka you had before the show. That's not what's freaking you out. It's
That's how I get through. Yeah.
All right.
They're little.
So there was this image that was going around social media just the last couple of days. That was a rule from our friends over at the IRS. I want you to check out this picture right here. So the IRS is saying when you're filing your income, you should file your stolen property. If you steal property, you must report its fair market value in your income in the year you steal it, unless you return it to its rightful owner in the same year. Now, that almost seems like that's just beyond belief. There's no way that that's actually in the tax code. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can do this, if you actually go to irs.gov and search stolen property, it'll come up on something, it'll come up to a URL with a page 19. That's actually real.
That's incredible.
That is really for real in the tax code on the irs.gov website right now.
It's a shame that people have to be told that.
Well, you have to specify. Look, if you returned your stolen goods in this year that you stole it, then we'll let bygones be bygones. But if you fail to return it until the next calendar year, you better file that income. And fair market value, by the way, if you're going to steal someone's PS5 from their Amazon box on their porch, you better file it for the value of a new PS5.
Yeah, the retail value. Yeah.
Yeah. Clown world.
Well, robbery's not really their problem. You know, that they don't care.
Well, of course, it's rich coming from the IRS, right? Like the people who are stealing billions of dollars from everyone. They're the ones saying, look, if you stole... the best... It actually reminded me, like, I'm a really big fan of the show The Sopranos, and, like, I say The Sopranos. I was going to say I'm a big fan of the Godfather movies, but somebody here hasn't seen them. So... they have a phrase in there where the gangsters always talk about wetting their beak. If you've got someone above you and you do a side hustle, they're okay with you doing the side hustle, but you got to let them know so that they can get their taste.
Yeah.
It's not the point is that it's not the stealing that's the problem. They just have to get theirs. Mm-hmm. And this is quite literally how the IRS operates.
It's the exact same operation.
Yes. Yeah. This is not an exaggeration. Speaking of an exaggeration, it's been the holidays. I've been a little bit under the weather. I've really had nothing better to do than to watch a bunch of football. And the one good thing about this time of year is a ton of football on. And I happened to watch the Green Bay Packers the other night, and they won their game. And I saw this live on TV when it happened. At the end of the game, Aaron Andrews, who's the sideline reporter, she does an interview with Aaron Rodgers, quarterback Green Bay Packers. And they're doing this whole thing, where they do the socially distanced interview, where they've got the boom mic, the guy's holding it out like 6 feet forward. The mic, he's holding the mic up to the athlete's face while the sideline reporter is standing 6 feet away and like yelling her questions out to him. And they've been doing that now like all season long. And they did that. But take a look at this picture right here. So they do the interview socially distanced. And then when the interview's over and the camera's still rolling, by the way, they get together for a hug.
It's beautiful.
It reminds me of a phrase we've said many, many times on this program, that they don't even respect you enough to lie well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would, like, if they obviously have nothing but contempt for you, but if they had even an ounce more respect for you, they would do the socially distanced interview and then they would cut the mic and the camera so that you didn't see them hugging and laughing immediately after the fact. But they don't. They actually put that on live on national television. This is why we got to have that freaking laugh and applause button.
Yeah.
Because this is the point where I'm looking over here in the monitor like, oh, Dave will say something. And Dave just Dave's not even there right now, you guys. He's the camera's empty. He walked off. He's not even in the studio anymore.
Did I miss anything?
Christ. No, you didn't.
Okay.
Actually, Dave, I'm glad you're back. I wanted to talk to you about something.
Yeah.
So, next week, it's the first episode of the new year, buddy. We're gonna be changing things up a little bit. We have a lot of guests scheduled coming up. It's been a while. It's been a while since we had like several guests back to back to back. We got a bunch of guests lined up.
That's exciting.
You know what that means, though? It means we got to cut the language back a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking like I'm saying that like I'm talking to you.
Oh.
We got to cut the language. Yeah.
Okay.
See,
yeah. I apologize.
Do you remember back? I think it actually was around episode 100. Do you remember when I did like an audience survey where I asked people questions about what they thought about the show and stuff like that? And one of the questions on the survey was, what do you think about the adult language on the program? And the answers were, there's too much adult language, you need to scale it back, or it's just about right, or you should be free to say whatever you want, it's an adult program, or or it should be rated G, like I should be able to play this in the car with my children. I wanted people to tell me what they thought the language on the program should be, and it was a little bit of a mixed bag. I mean, you had a few respondents for every answer, but a majority, or I guess I should say a plurality of people answered, you should just say whatever you want. And of course, me, an intellectual, when I read that, I was like, fuck it, we'll just say whatever we want.
Yeah.
But, we're trying to get these more respectable, established types to come on the program. And not just that, we're trying to get them to share our content as well. Like, if I have a famous person come on the show, that's great. But that's only the first half. The second half is then them going out into the world and saying, hey, guys, I was on this program. I really enjoyed it. And it's come to my attention that if we talk about what babies look like in the microwave, then they might not share it.
Yeah.
So I think the answer here is it needs to be like network language, if that makes sense. Like, like on late night TV, they say like damn and hell and even an occasional bitch. But you can't say any word that corresponds to genitalia. Just those are out. Yeah. No. You can't say that, and you also can't say words that are synonymous with feces. And this is really bad for fans of dick shitter, because that's a double whammy. You can't say, man, you can't be saying dick shitter.
I'll try to cut back.
Yeah. I occasionally like to call people twat scarfs. You can't call people that. I see. I'm looking at the monitor. I see Dave thinking, like he's like, "What is that? What is it?
What could that even refer to?"
Like, that. I'll tell you during the commercial. Okay. I'll tell you. I would explain it, but we're actually recording right now, so I will tell you during the commercial. Actually, this commercial is great. So, in the second commercial, I want Dave. You remind me, and I'll explain to you what a twat scarf is.
Okay.
All right.
Deal.
On that note, guys, we're going to be back with the meme of the week and the viewer mail right after this commercial break. Don't go away.
Let me know if you need a minute.
Oh God.
It's kind
I
of got me
just
broken up too.
I just want to tell people who are right now are still watching. I mean, I can't imagine anyone still watching this particular episode at this point. But if you're still watching the show and you saw that, I want to just let you know I actually looked into this, and that was its final tweet.
It's beautiful.
What a legend! Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
it's like when you didn't even know something existed, and then you find out that it's gone.
Oh God,
I'm really broken up.
that actually helped to clear up my congestion a little bit. I think. All right. All right, we're behind schedule already, so we're gonna have to move on. Rip veggie fact though.
Yeah.
All right. Hey Dave,
Yes, Alan.
what time is it?
It's time for meme of the week.
Can you explain this gap in your resume? Can you explain this? Wow. The reason why that's the meme of the week is that really speaks to me,
Mhm.
like personally. That boy, we've
probably
all been there.
Probably wouldn't help in an interview though.
Yeah, but if you know what, if we're
Ah.
we're on that question, the interview's over, my man. It's just might as well just go out swinging like veggie fact.
That's right. Instead of living on your knees.
No, God, may we all be so lucky in the end. Boy, this thing has really gone off the rails. But we do have a bonus meme. Check out the bonus meme. You think Chewbacca had a human dick or one of those red rocket things like dogs? George Lucas won't answer my emails. This show used to be about like politics and current events. We
Ron
had
Paul.
Yeah, we had like New York Times bestsellers. We had Ron
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah. I'm trying to get Thomas Massey on the show.
I think we could do that.
We
I could see
probably
that.
could, but maybe not show him this episode.
No, not this one.
No. Because when you're flying that close to the sun, they have those people have people, and their people are going to look into you. And if this is the first thing they see when they Google Alan Mosley, we're in trouble.
We have a plethora of other perfectly good episodes so we could send them.
It's probably better that they
Overwhelming.
just go back and look at a gold standard episode and just forget the whole last 2 years of content.
Same thing.
Yeah. Boy, should we even, or should we just skip it entirely?
They'd riot.
Yeah, people wouldn't put up with that. Let's go ahead and answer the viewer mail. This music has a very 90s adult contemporary vibe to it.
Like a rom-com type.
Yeah. Andrew Avery writes, Dear Alan and Dave, if you wake up, you see how I'm holding on to the desk? That's how disturbed I am from this week's episode. I'm actually holding on. I am feeling better. Like I don't want the fact that I'm still sick to lead you to believe that I'm not at least feeling better. I am. Ooh, nobody gives a shit. You can't hit any of the buttons I want you to hit when I want you to hit them, but you can do that. Andrew Avery writes, Dear Alan and Dave, if you wake up with a headache on New Year's morn, is it real pain or champagne?
It's real.
I'm gonna start just rewording Andrew's questions for him because I feel like there was a real question somewhere in there.
Yeah.
The real question is do you like champagne? Dave, do you like champagne?
I mean, I'll drink it just because that's
Imagine
what
that.
you do.
Yeah. Boy, what a fucking surprise.
To get a Ed McMahon vibe here.
Um, I mean, I don't drink, so I mean, if I already don't drink like any alcohol, why would champagne be the one that I do drink? You know what I'm saying?
It's not great.
Yeah, it's crap. It's crap. Your pun's crap, Andrew. It's
Wow.
No, I'm just. I
I
mean,
thought I thought we were gonna get into the whole existential, is pain a real thing, or
well, Veggie Fact was talking about that. He was just, people are gonna have to go back and slow that commercial down because there was some
yeah,
of those in there you didn't really have time for.
yeah, you got to get it
Uh,
all.
yeah, you do.
Shit.
All right, we're only one question in.
Yeah. You're doing all
Yeah.
right.
All right. Ryan Seifert writes, "Dear Alan and Dave." So he asked more than one question. I'm gonna skip to the question that's relevant for tonight's program. Ryan Seifert writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, do you have a realistic New Year's resolution? Do you have a realistic New Year's resolution, Dave?"
I don't know if it's realistic, but I'm obviously I want to stop eating like this. That's my big thing too.
Stop eating. Stop eating. Like what, Dave?
Like I have been for the past 2 weeks.
All right.
It's oh,
What? I'm just taking. No, I do actually have drink in my cup this time. But the thing is it actually makes me nervous because there's an open container on my desk.
just the one. You should see the studio desk here. It's it's insane. There's several open containers. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, Dave, I'm just not gonna have you start any of the comedic exchanges anymore. I think.
It's
All right.
it's been a while. I got lost.
Like the next 17 entries are all Ryan Seifert just ringing into space. I don't even know who he's talking to. So we're gonna scroll down a little bit. Um, Gary Dykstra writes, "Dear Alan and Dave,
Oh, Gary.
if you found out that a tornado was going to hit your house in the next 5 minutes, what are the three things other than your spouse or significant other that you would grab and take along with you before heading somewhere safe?" What's funny about this question, Gary, is that you're posing this as a hypothetical, but we're back up in the 70s here, down in Tennessee. We're about to have
Oh,
another round of storms, so this might actually be a very real life question for me.
yeah. Something you
Um,
should have on paper.
yeah. So
Plan.
okay, so three things other than a spouse or significant other that you take with you before heading somewhere safe, Dave.
Well, that one's tricky for me because he just said spouse, significant other. I have three
Yeah.
kids, so I'd probably have to bring them down.
All right. Yeah. So which two plus your wallet? Do you- do you-
I gotta get that Xbox too. Oh, damn.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
I'll have to pick a
Well,
favorite.
back in the old days, they would talk about having an heir and a spare. So if you have an
Oh,
heir and a spare, then you've got at least one free thing to take from the house.
hmm.
Probably best Mary doesn't see this part of the show. Yeah,
Or the kids. Yeah.
yeah.
I might not
See,
let them watch this one.
this is easy for me because I actually have nothing of value. So I'll donate my three to you. So there
Oh,
you are. Yeah. I mean, it says other than significant. So I get to take. So I just pick up Anike under one arm. If you've ever seen Anike, that's actually not that hard to do. Um, Actually, my guitar, I have a Martin
oh yeah.
acoustic electric. So it's actually worth more than my car. Um, it's no, it's not worth
Wow.
more than Anike. It's worth more than my car. So Anike's in one arm, the Martin's in the other. Um, all right. Jonathan Carranza writes, "Dear Alan, we've only done like three now. The segment's over. Segment's over, Dave."
Should I hit the
Jesus.
button?
No,
Okay.
because if you do, then what will we do then? You know?
Oh,
Yeah. Jonathan Carranza writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, do you play Dungeons and Dragons?" Um, I don't currently play Dungeons and Dragons, but I have played Dungeons and Dragons,
oh.
and Dungeons and Dragons is dope. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I bet it is. People seem to love it. I've never tried. Well, I may have accidentally played it. Like some friends started doing it, and I'm like, what are we doing here? This is weird.
No, it's Dungeon, not an orgy, Dave. It's Dungeons and
Oh,
Dragons. You don't accidentally. Jeez.
must have been a theme.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people we didn't do costumes at our Dungeons and Dragons. We just sit down and play.
Yeah.
You know what the trick is though is that you got to have two things to play Dungeons and Dragons. You have to have a really awesome DM, Dungeon Master. You have to have somebody who knows what they're doing to kind of run the show, kind of like this program, except for we don't have one. Um, and then the group of people you're playing with, like it has to be kind of a tight knit group. Like you can't just go out on the street and say, "Hey guys, you want to play Dungeons and Dragons?"
Yeah.
Because then you have some people that are just playing for fun, and then you have some people like, "No, you can't do that." On page 17A of the rules, it says you can't do that. So no, we're not doing it that way. I quit. You can't have.
Are you sure you're not talking about an orgy? Because I swear.
We had way too many sausages at our D&D games for an orgy. We did have one girl at our Dungeons and Dragons games,
Oh.
but I don't think she would have appreciated it. I really can't stress this enough that if so Congressman Massey, if you're watching the show right now,
Yeah.
this won't be how your episode is.
It's abnormal.
We wouldn't do this on the episode that we know you're gonna be on. On the episode you're on, we'd be like, "Oh, what'd you do for Christmas, Dave?" "Oh, I went out with." We don't really do much. I don't do much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you in the monologue what you and the kids did for Christmas, but the monologue is past, and frankly, the viewer mail's past too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we better just do the rest of it then.
Yeah. Next question.
Nick White writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, where will the country be in 5 years?" I mean, probably in the Western Hemisphere. Like,
Yeah. I hope it doesn't move. That'd be weird.
yeah, that sounds like it would be bad.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and they used to like when I was a kid in elementary school, they were already starting to push some of this environmental communist bullshit. And I remember them like holding up a map that showed like they talked about, because we were in Tennessee, right? And they would talk about if we don't stop destroying the earth, then Tennessee's going to be like beachfront property by the year whatever. And I remember thinking that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, our values are going up. Because like we live in the hills, right? So we would be above the new water line, and my house would be worth like $250,000 more. So ever since that day, I just let my car run at night. I just let it run.
I think that's better for it.
Yeah,
It's like a computer. You don't want to be shutting it down, starting it up.
yeah. I haven't shut this computer down basically since I got it. I mean, there's a lot of naked ladies on that internet.
What?
So
Check out this internet.
yeah. No one does. If the views of this episode are any indication, no one's on the internet. But what happened? What happened? All right. Eric Eli writes, yeah, that's a good spot for you, Dave. You need to sit in such a way that I can't see the monitor, because the more I see the recording time, the more panicked I get. So yeah, sit where I can't see it. That's good. Eric Eli writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, what is the best prize you've ever gotten from a cereal box? You can include Cracker Jacks." He says you can also include the Happy Meals, but whatever. What's the best prize you ever got from a cereal box?
I feel like I'm at an age where I remember getting cool stuff, especially with Happy Meals and then cereal box and stuff, but it's all garbage now. It's been garbage for a long time. So the only thing I can think of is being excited about some temporary tattoos or something.
I remember getting one of those little Batmobiles where, it has like if you pull it backwards on its wheels, then it would like shoot forward. Like that winds it up,
That's something you could at least play with.
Yeah. Well,
It's like I mean all the McDonald's toys today are like, they're kind of like, here, you throw this away. What are you going to do with it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always felt like those were for the less fortunate kids.
Oh.
But it kind of but it works for us normal people too though, because then you don't need your toy and you could give it to a
Yeah,
random passerby, and then that will make you feel good about yourself even though you really lost nothing of value.
yeah. You
But you
figured
know,
it out.
one's man's trash is another, you know.
Poor kid's treasure.
Yeah. I mean, what else do they have other than domestic violence?
Well, now they have a Spider-Man keychain.
What did Biden say? That poor kids are just as good as white kids, so that I
Just
mean,
as bright and just as smart as white kids. Yeah,
but the statistics show that's not true. So,
that's why they're poor. Wait,
nah,
shit.
just just Craig Ferguson, if you're watching the show, this isn't how we normally do it. All right, actually, it is. Actually, if he's watching the show, he'll probably be
Yeah,
more turned on by this.
yeah,
So Craig, if you're watching this, this is what you can expect.
yeah,
Congressman Massey, if you're watching this, just don't. Just stop it.
yeah.
Just turn it off. Yeah.
Go back 4 years and check out those ones.
Yeah. We had Ron Paul. Dude,
Yeah,
he
he knows
likes Ron
him.
Paul. Yeah, he
Yeah,
knows him. We have a mutual. That makes us buddies. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. I bet Thomas Massey would play Dungeons and Dragons.
I could see it.
Yeah. He went to
He'd really
MIT. What else was he
get
doing
into
there?
character. Yeah,
He wasn't doing chicks, so I mean,
he'd show up in armor.
Tim Weissong writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, I had to pause. I forgot your name for a second. I'm sorry.
That's
I was gonna say Blake. That was two producers ago. Jesus, man.
no,
All
I
right,
always forget people's names.
all right.
You can go on, Aaron.
Yeah. Have you seen that meme of someone comes up and says, 'Hi, my name's Jason,' and the guy takes the name and there's no room in his head. He says, 'Say Jarvis, have you heard about?'" Oh man.
See, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. The viewer mail has turned into the memes we didn't use for meme of the
Hmm.
week. Yeah.
Better memes that we can't show you.
Remember how earlier before, like during our pregame, I said that the break after viewer mail is the halfway point of the show?
Ooh. How long
Look
is this show supposed to be?
at as long as it takes.
Yeah.
Tim Weissong writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, you know, the people that complained about the commercial breaks are really wishing they had one now, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, God, I really need a moment to collect myself. Well, shouldn't have complained.
Mhm.
Dear Alan and Dave, why hasn't Groundhog Day been more commercialized? No greeting cards, lawn ornaments, feasts, etc. Is this a missed opportunity or a dodged bullet?" It's actually a good question.
It really is.
You want to hear something funny? So speaking of Blake messaged me the other day and he said that they're planning on getting groundhogs for their farm and they want to start a Groundhog Day festivities here in Tennessee.
Yeah, it is kind of regional here, ain't it?
I'm telling you this, Dave, because this is what you
Mhm.
have to look forward to when you are no longer the producer of It's Too Late. You move on to having a farm with groundhogs and
I mean,
alpacas and giant birds and yeah.
sounds nice. It's
Yeah,
like the
that's
story of Mice and Men. Tell me about the farm again, Alan.
yeah. Yeah. Except for I forgot to shoot Blake and now he actually did it. My gun jammed and the son of a bitch actually went out and did it. Oh man. Logan Denny writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, what's the
I'm
what's
good.
the strangest animal meat you've eaten?"
Hmm.
Dave, what's the strangest animal meat you've eaten?
Frog, but
Frog?
it was homemade, which makes it stranger. That I was with my cousin. We go out to the pond and he'd shoot it with a pellet gun and throw
Mhm.
the legs in the microwave. Wasn't bad.
I don't know about
Tastes
the
like chicken.
microwaving part.
Yeah, it was weird. They'd move around like in the microwave.
I mean, this is not so like you think you've really broken some ice here, but I'm from the South, so for us
Oh,
that's like,
okay.
oh, that's Tuesday. Okay.
Yeah. You don't microwave that. You saute it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, eh, eh, For me, I guess I would say gator is probably the strangest animal meat I've had.
Yeah.
Um, and I know what your natural instinct is to ask me, well, what did it taste like? And the answer is, not the best. It tasted like what you would eat when you don't have access to all other foods.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can see that.
but if you had a chicken in your yard and an alligator, I'd go get the chicken. Like I wouldn't say we got to wrestle this gator so I can eat it. You know. Didn't care for it though. So
Yeah.
yeah, you know, our the previous producer of the show ate a dog. So
I heard that.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah. Logan,
Just say that out loud.
Logan, this question would have been better
Yeah.
a few months ago. Yeah. I don't mean to make you feel less valuable, Dave, by me
No.
saying that. I'm just saying that when it comes to eating random things off the street,
Yeah.
Sherry was better for that. And for owning groundhog, Blake was better for that.
Mhm.
But
I need
you're
to get out there and
better.
experience life. Yeah.
Yeah, but you also, Dave, you have things that make you unique and have worth.
Wow. Thank you.
I can't for the life of me think of any, but
No, that's okay.
you have them.
I believe you.
Yeah. Well, that was your first mistake. Speaking of this, Mary Lynn Wilimowski writes,
Oh,
"Dear
good.
Alan and Dave, we're gonna make a weekly thing where Mary's question is, Dear Alan and Dave."
I like
Mary Lynn Wilimowski writes, "Dear Alan and Dave, do you have any New Year's Eve traditions? Any New Year's Day traditions?" Dave, Mary's saying y'all should do something for New Year's. Is what she's.
No, we have a tradition. We New Year's Eve well, I don't know if we'll still do it. We get out the fryer and we just fry everything, anything that we can bread, and just feel sick all night.
The
That's pretty
frog
much
would
it.
taste better that way.
Deep fried.
Yeah,
Oh, I bet.
I mean, it'd be a lot better than microwave. Micro.
Yeah, and then pork and sauerkraut on the day.
You know what's actually really sad. Well, I mean, it's sad for me. I shouldn't even say that. Now I'm gonna be in trouble. Anna Kay took her mom to Florida for the holiday, which is very nice
Yeah.
for them. I'm just here browsing euthanasia.com. They're down in Florida. But she'll be back and we're going to do something for New Year's. So whatever it is me and Anna Kay do for New Year's, Mary, I will tell you what it is. But probably not on air though.
Yeah.
Probably during the commercial break when I'm telling Dave what a twat scarf is. I haven't forgotten.
The more you know.
If we can stretch this out a few more minutes, then we're basically only going to do one more segment and we're just out. We're outsies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
All right. No, it won't be great because you've automated everything and you can't physically do it, can you?
I have individual buttons. I might be able to do that. Oh, that's confusing. No, never mind.
Uh-huh. Yeah. It's all coming together.
Automated myself out of the job.
All right. This is the last that we're doing two more, and then we're just gonna cut recording.
Yep.
Lauderio writes, Dear Alan and Dave, what's the best way to prepare for death and suffering? Jesus, Lyle.
Wow.
Tune in to It's Too Late Wednesday nights at 9:00 Eastern time, wherever we're allowed to publish.
Then you'll welcome it.
What's that supposed to mean?
It's the last thing on your bucket list. You know, you did it all.
Jeff Johnson writes, Dear Alan and Dave, is a cupcake a cake or a muffin? So this is actually quite easy one. It literally says cake in the fucking name. So that's how you know that cupcake is a cake. But here's the thing though. Jonathan Carranza came back with an interesting rebuttal, which is a muffin a cake? And I'm actually here to tell you it is in fact not a cake. So
Hmm.
a cupcake is a cake that fits in something the size of a cup. Imagine that. Boy, really hard to break that one down. But you might be saying to yourself, well, a muffin is similarly sized.
Hmm.
Is a muffin a cake? So a muffin is actually muffin is bread and cake is cake. So a cupcake is a cake and muffin is actually a bread. It's kind of like a fruit cake. So fruit cake is not a cake. It's a bread. And a muffin is a bread. So since it's a bread, it's not a cake. So a muffin is not a cake. A cupcake is a cake.
Okay. Yeah. I'll just
Yeah.
believe you.
It's you're not gonna gaslight me, Dave. You're not gonna bait me into another rant when the segment's already 22 minutes over. I'm not gonna allow it. That was, and you know what? That was the last question. Actually, it wasn't. Carl Huber asked, "What is the sound of one hand clapping?" But I mean,
Okay.
all right, boy, this is really we've really reached an all-time low here. I think the next two segments are both going to be like 3 minutes apiece.
Yeah, we can do it.
Can we though? So after this break, you will come to find out that either the next two segments are like 5 minutes or this is a 2 hour long episode. And we'll find out right after this commercial break. Don't go away. Your ad could be playing right now, reaching thousands of potential customers. Sadly, it's not, but it could be. Find out how to be an advertised sponsor for It's Too Late with Alan Mosley. Email us at info@alanmosley.tv. I'm really excited for Dave because Dave just found out what a twat scarf is. But we don't have time to go into it here on
No.
tonight's show. That's just for Dave. Um speaking of something that's not just for Dave, June 4th, 2022. Boy, if you've been watching this whole episode thinking to yourself, I got to spend a whole day with these guys. You can do that. June 4th, 2022, right here in Middle Tennessee. Pull up the graphic here, Dave. It's the 4th annual It's Too Late live show hosted by Alan Mosley and Dave and Mary of Liberty Late Night. I actually put y'all's name on it, so
Uh-oh.
you're fucked now, buddy. Now, when you guys let me know the week of that you're not coming because someone has a runny nose, everyone's going to be there and they're going to be saying, "Where's Dave?"
Yeah.
Dave said he was. I thought we were going to have frogs. Where's Dave?
Dave's a flake.
Fucking. It's a twat scarf, really. It's June 4th, 2022. The link is down in the description below. Go and get your tickets. Here's what you do. You go to the site, you give me your money, then you can come to tell me that you appreciate my taking it. The money, that is. You got to pay a lot more than that if you want
Yeah.
to. Yeah.
I love our
This
awkward silences.
this is that's one of those moments where if this were back in the gold standard days, me and Blake would quit. Me and Blake would just cut tape, we'd roll it back, and we'd redo the whole thing. But not anymore, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
We just power. We look at the clock, we see that it's at 45 fucking minutes in, and we say, you know what, better just wrap it up. We're not gonna redo 45 minutes of content. That's just crazy.
Ugh.
No one's gonna do that.
Not this kind of gold.
Oh God, we wouldn't want you to miss out on this. What we were gonna do is we were gonna do the whole Desk 2 and Desk 3 segments talking about Rand Paul's Festivus, where he talks about government waste, and he does this at the same time every single year. And I actually knew that it was coming up this year because I saw Rand on the Liberty Report with his father, Ron. Do we have a picture of Ron and Rand? Yeah, there they are, right there.
Oh, that's them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know those guys.
Yeah, I remember them. They even have their little communicators.
They like to keep in touch.
Yeah. But you got to pay a lot if you want to keep them.
Yeah.
and touch.
If you know it, yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it's moments like this that I regret having separate cameras as opposed to a split camera, because you guys are really missing a lot of Dave reaction time. At least 2/3 of this episode has just been. That's been about 2/3 of the episode. Yeah, something akin to that right there has been most of the show. So anyway, we also have the link in the description to this, but basically the show's over. So I mean, are we even going to do it? Are we going to do it still? Or are we just going to save this for next week because this show's over? It's over.
Yeah. Got like 12 minutes. You gotta do something.
I think we should just do story time with Uncle Alan. We don't have time for the whole planned segment.
Yeah.
You want to just talk, Dave, you and I?
I think that's what we've been doing a little too much of that.
Oh man. Well, so next week we're going to do this. It's going to be great, you guys. We're going to have this whole thing where we talk about all this government waste and spending, and it's going to be wild. Y'all are going to love it. But not this week though.
No.
No.
Calling an audible.
Yeah, we are calling an audible. But the thing is though, let me just pull this in.
Yeah.
The thing is though, is that if we're going to do story time with Uncle Alan, that's got to be in desk 3. We're only in desk 2. This is technically the halfway point of the show.
Yeah. They like the commercials. You want to throw another one at them?
I like the commercials. To me, it's like it makes it like a professional like TV broadcast to have segments and commercial breaks. But there's some people, they just can't appreciate anything.
Yeah. Your hard work.
Yeah.
Dedication to the craft.
Yeah. All that time I spent putting in commercial breaks so that I could beg for money.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a football game earlier today, as a matter of fact. It was Air Force in Louisville. And if you're asking yourself, why are you watching Air Force in Louisville? The answer is that's what was on, motherfucker. It's not like I wanted to watch that game. But it was during that game they were announcing how all these other bowl games are canceled. I think they're up to like 5 or 6 bowl games now that got canceled because teams pulled out and said, "Oh, we're not going to play. We have too many people with COVID." That's
Wow.
what they're blaming it on. Yeah, too many kids have a runny nose, so we're not going to play football today. And it's like, actually, it made me mad. At first it made me mad because I was like, well, what else am I going to do with my day? I can't beat off that many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I could do that and watch the game at the same time too. I mean, don't, you know. But the other thing is I was like, it's about those players. Like, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for them. Like most kids don't go on to play Division I football. But even most kids that play Division I football, their careers are over when they graduate college. They're not going to go play in the NFL. So if they're playing for a team, they get to go to a bowl game. This is like a big moment for them, you know? And it made me think of like this whole just COVID thing in general. Is like even going forward to now, like you still have school systems where like they don't have prom and they don't walk in their graduations and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, you don't get to have that back. That's the worst part. It's one thing to say, me and Dave, we're going to play Dungeons and Dragons this weekend, but we'll postpone to next weekend. We'll still do it, and we didn't miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't get to go back to being a graduate and receiving their diploma. They don't get to go back to their senior prom and knocking up some chick behind the subway, you know. That moment is lost forever.
It is sad.
Yeah. Like, what about the kid that was going to call in the bomb threat?
Mm-hmm.
He don't get to do that anymore. That could have been you or me, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the bomb threat, but you know.
No. Yeah. Knocking up the chick behind the place.
Yeah. Oh, we've all been there. But not this generation. They're missing out on ruining their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, the great thing about Blake and Sherry is that they would chime in more
Yeah.
when I'm actually going out of my way to purposely hang myself on the show. They would say, "Alan, I'm not going to let you do this to yourself," and they would jump in with like an anecdote. But Dave just sits back. I actually saw Dave take his hands off the keyboard like this. He's like, I just want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's he going with this?
First mistake you made was thinking I was going anywhere.
Yeah.
This is it. This is where I was going. I was going to the point where I could say, we'll be back right after this commercial break. If you're enjoying tonight's show, consider supporting the program by becoming a member of our Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/Alan Mosley.
No, see, that's wrong. That was too late.
That was that one week that it was like dead on. What happened?
Yeah. I don't know. We changed the timing on everything, and
Did we?
I did. I changed the timing.
All right.
That's my
Well,
fault.
I think you'll get out early on good behavior. Yeah.
You mean out of my contract?
No, out of prison.
Oh,
I mean, you're going to jail, my friend. This is. I actually during the break actually shut down my laptop and stuff. So like, I'm not even going to leave it up as an option for me to go back into the show. This is what we're doing now tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering what the hell we're gonna do now.
I'll tell you what we're going to do now. Piggybacking up on something we talked about in the viewer mail, is that so you said that if a tornado was coming to get your house, you would take Mary and the kids.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I mean, I guess makes sense. But I don't have kids. And you know what? I don't think me and Annika are going to have kids.
Oh yeah. Well,
I don't think we are. And the reason I brought that up is I saw some people on social media, particularly in the liberty sphere, if you will, that they were saying this thing that, you know, the way to win the culture war and the way to own the libs is you just outbreed the left. That's what they were saying, is you got to outbreed the left. All of us should be having a whole bunch of kids. And I remember thinking, no, I think a lot of you guys should definitely not have kids. I mean that. And I mean that in the most offensive way that you can conjure up. What? Because the thing
you don't
is,
want anybody having any misconceptions here.
Because we've had older folks around us who have said, "Oh, you guys, you'll change your minds. You guys are gonna have little ones, and as soon as you see that baby, you're just gonna love it," and all this horse shit. And I was like, okay, time out. Let's bring it in. I'm not saying that that's not all beautiful and wonderful. What I'm saying is that I have enough respect for the whole idea of parentage that I don't think I should do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, could you imagine me having kids? Like, could you even imagine that?
Listen here, you little dick shitter.
Yeah. Yeah. Our whole relationship would be me telling them how, you know, how much I could get for them on the free market as long as they stay clean. And Anna Kay telling them, "Oh, honey, he didn't mean that. She didn't mean that." But I did mean it, though, didn't I?
Yeah. That's a lot like how it feels producing this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
We almost have like a father-son relationship.
Yeah. So it was. Well, which one of us is Captain Picard and which one of us is Chief O'Brien?
Well,
Imagine.
about...
Wait, hold on. Imagine just for a moment, if you will, someone who has not seen any of the show until this, like they just logged in, They're like, oh, I'm missing the show. And they just turned it on. And the first thing they heard was you saying that and me saying, but which one of us is
Yeah.
Captain Picard and which one of us is Chief O'Brien? If that was the first thing they heard at 56 minutes into the show, they'd be thinking,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Would they
But you
be
know what?
intrigued enough to stay?
But the people who have been watching from the very beginning, you know what their reaction is? I'm sorry, what? So anyway, I actually had a serious point to make there in that. In what it is I to this very day I still see people saying things like we have to outbreed the left. But I see a lot of these same people saying things like we gotta fix the schools. We got look at all this dumb stuff going on in the world. We gotta, you know, write your congressman. And I'm like, no, no. I've said this to you before, Dave. I've said this to you and Mary. I actually, you guys are like, you guys like when you look up good parents in the dictionary, there's people who are at least reminiscent of Dave and Mary. And the reason is because you guys don't flip a coin wondering what your kids are going to learn today from the jackboots down the street. You guys took your family into your own hands. Not that way,
No.
not that way, but but in a
Oh,
loving way.
yeah.
And you guys are missing Dave's face when I
No, you
say,
gotta make sure you clear this up.
yeah. And you don't like you see all the you see like the thing now is you got like these tranny dick shitters that like rip their dicks off and call themselves women, and they do TikToks saying I'm at school teaching your kids about inclusivity, and I'm like, you ain't teaching my kids anything. But you don't have to worry about that though, Dave, because you guys made the decision. We're going to provide for our kids and we're going to teach them. We're going to raise them right. But you got all these people out here that are like almost pressuring the community saying you guys need to have a bunch more kids and then not be prepared to raise them that way.
Yeah.
Like these people think that by just having more children, you're going to have more like libertarians on earth. But if it were that easy, there'd be more libertarians now. But what it is a bunch of people sent their kids off to Caesar, and then they're surprised when they come home as Romans.
Yeah, you got to stay involved if your kids are in public education. You got to
Mm-hmm.
every day.
Yeah. You like how I brought this thing back at 59 minutes and 22 seconds?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good. That was slick.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have time for, I think. Because we still have to do the finale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you
Oh,
going? Dave just
I
got
almost
up and
did that.
left. All right.
I almost did that thing.
Okay.
Got scared.
Only people that show up on June 4th, 2022 are going to get to hear Dick Shitter. Actually, no, there's going to be kids there. I better not.
Oh,
I was going to say that people who show up on June 4th will learn
yeah.
what a twat scarf is.
Yeah.
But can't
Let's
yeah.
save that for the
Yeah.
Mexican place, the restaurant.
Ponchos?
Got the name.
Yeah.
Ponchos. Yeah.
Yeah. That's some good eating.
I
Ponchos.
bet.
Better save twat scarf for Waffle House, I think.
Yeah.
Because they already know. Like they're like, oh yeah, they're talking about
Yeah.
They won't even be off put by it.
Of the kids at a separate table. You know.
But if we do it at Ponchos, they'll be like, hey, and
Yeah.
you don't want to have to explain it to them.
No.
Here you were thinking that I was gonna wrap up the show in a reasonable manner, and I did it, and then I destroyed it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show you, Dave, how I can giveth and taketh away, just like that.
It's like you parked it right in that spot, and then you just pedal to the metal. Right into the wall.
Well, I mean, when you're I was about to say something really bad. I'm just not going to. Guys,
right.
we're going to be back to wrap up the show right after this break. Please stick around. Like our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/AlanMosleyTV. You can follow me on Twitter. It's twitter.com/AlanMosleyTV. Wish it was Veggie Fact. Don't you wish it was Veggie? Yeah. Subscribe to YouTube. YouTube.com/AlanMosleyTV. We're also on a free speech platform. Go out and find us on Odyssey. It's odyssey.com. It's Too Late with Alan Mosley, Alan Mosley TV. If you're more of a listener than a watcher, and boy, you really lucked out this week, didn't you? Then you go find us on your favorite podcasting platform of choice. Thanks, Anchor. Boy, I'm afraid to even ask. Dave, do you have a final thought?
Yeah, I'm starting to get a lot more comfortable on the show. I'm talking more at the wrong times. I feel like I'm adding something, maybe changing it a little, and I'm almost scared of what it is. I don't know. Is this my fault?
No.
Okay.
This what happened tonight's not your fault. What it actually is that after the first of the new year, I mean, we've got something like 6, 8, 10 episodes all back to back to back, all with these amazing guests, all variety of intellectual coming on to talk about all these serious topics. And we're still gonna have a monologue and a viewer mail and stuff, but I mean those can only be like 15, 20 minutes, because then we got to move on to all this riveting conversation. And I thought, well, if this is the last episode of the year, and the last episode we get to do with rated R language, if you will, then I don't want to spend the whole thing talking about stuff that matters.
We kind of cut loose this week.
Yeah.
Let it rip. Get it out of our system.
I've been trying to get out of my system for like 17 days now. I'm starting to think that lady wasn't even a doctor. I'm starting to think that was just a cashier that they put a lab coat on.
We're short-staffed, Ellen. Good.
I had somebody say that I should go get tested for the Rona because I've been so sick. And I was like, but what would I do with that information?
Yeah. You could brag.
I mean, because I actually said that. I was like, well, I mean, why even, at this point, what difference does it even? Why would I even want to know? And they're like, well, because if you do, then you shouldn't, then you would, stay home and not like expose other people. I was like, no. If I'm going down, I'm taking everybody in this neighborhood with me. There we go. Now the show's back on track. There we go.
Say hello.
Oh.
Okay, get out of here.
Yeah. Wow. It was some kind of a mugging that just took place. Guys, thank you so much for listening to another episode of It's Too Late, and we will see you next week.